Imagine this. You've packed your bags, you've booked your flight, and you're at the airport, excited for your international trip. You approach the check-in counter, only for the airline staff to tell you, "Sorry, you can't board because you don't have a visa for your destination." Panic sets in. You've never even thought about a visa. Suddenly, all your plans are in jeopardy. What now? This could happen to anyone. It's a frustrating situation, and it happens more often than you think. But don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid this nightmare, and you'll be able to confidently plan your trip with no surprises at the airport. What you'll learn in this video, we're going to help you figure out if you need a visa to travel to your destination. By the time you're done watching, you'll know exactly what steps to take to avoid the stress and confusion that comes with international travel. Whether it's figuring out what documents you need, where to check, or how to avoid common mistakes, we've got you covered. We'll guide you through everything, step by step, so you'll be ready for your trip without any surprises. Main explanation section. What is a visa and why do you need one? Let's start with the basics. A visa is a legal document issued by the government of the country you want to visit. It gives you permission to enter that country for a specific period and for a specific purpose, like tourism, work, or study. It's not just a stamp on your passport, it's an important approval from the government allowing you to enter. While some countries allow you to visit without a visa, many others require one. If you don't have the right visa, you could be turned away at the airport or even face legal consequences. So, knowing whether you need a visa is the first step in making sure your trip goes smoothly. Do you need a visa for your destination? There are two main ways to find out if you need a visa. Visa-free countries. Some countries allow visitors from certain countries to enter without a visa. This is often the case for short visits, like tourism or business. These countries typically have agreements that let travelers from certain nations enter without needing to apply for a visa. For example, citizens of the United States can visit many European countries for up to 90 days without a visa. Visa-required countries. Other countries require a visa for entry. This is common for countries that want to control who enters and for what purpose. Countries like China, India, and Russia require travelers to apply for a visa before traveling. Who is exempt from visa requirements? Certain people might be exempt from needing a visa. For example, passport holders from specific countries. As mentioned earlier, some countries have agreements that let people from certain countries visit without a visa. Certain purposes of travel. Sometimes you don't need a visa for short stays, such as for tourism or business meetings, but you might need one for work, study, or long stays. Citizens with diplomatic status. Diplomats, government officials, and certain international workers may have different visa requirements. Common misunderstandings. Let's clear up a few common misconceptions travelers often have. A visa is always needed for long stays. Just because you're staying longer than usual doesn't automatically mean you need a visa. Some countries have a visa-free allowance for long stays for certain nationalities. Your passport is enough. Your passport is essential, but it doesn't guarantee entry to every country. Some countries might still require a visa for your nationality, even with a valid passport. Visa on arrival means no visa needed. Many countries offer a visa on arrival option, which can be convenient, but it doesn't mean you don't need a visa at all. It just means you can get the visa once you land, rather than having to apply in advance. Real-life example, let's consider Sarah, a US citizen traveling to Thailand. Sarah did her research and found out that US passport holders can visit Thailand for 30 days without a visa for tourism. However, Sarah decided to stay longer than 30 days, thinking she could extend her stay easily. When she arrived at the airport after 30 days, she was denied entry because she didn't have a visa for an extended stay. Sarah's lesson: just because you can stay a short time without a visa doesn't mean it's easy to extend. You need to be sure you understand the rules for your specific situation. Common mistakes section. Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about the common mistakes that travelers make when it comes to visas. Mistake number 1. Not checking visa requirements in advance. Many travelers assume they don't need a visa and only realize at the airport that they do. This is often because they didn't check the visa requirements early enough. Wyatt, happens, people usually focus on booking flights and accommodation, thinking the visa will be simple if needed. But visa rules can change, and they can be country-specific. How to avoid it? Check visa requirements well in advance, at least 2 to 3 months before your trip. Don't wait until the last minute. Mistake number 2. Assuming visa-free means no restrictions. Some countries have special rules, even for visa-free travelers. For example, even if you don't need a visa for a country, you may still be required to show proof of return flight tickets, enough money for your stay, or certain vaccinations. Why it happens? Travelers think no visa required means no other rules, but that's not always true. How to avoid it? Read up on the entry requirements, even for visa-free countries. You might need additional documents or meet specific conditions. Mistake number 3. Forgetting about the expiry date of your passport. Your passport needs to be valid for a certain period beyond your planned travel dates. For example, many countries require your passport to be valid for at least 6 months after your intended departure. Why it happens? People often think their passport is fine if it's still valid when they leave, but the country you're visiting might have stricter rules. How to avoid it? Check the expiry date on your passport and renew it if necessary. Make sure it meets the specific entry requirements of your destination. Mistake number 4. Misunderstanding the visa on arrival process. Some travelers think that because a country offers a visa on arrival, it's an easy process. They don't realize that they might need to meet additional requirements or face long delays. Why it happens? Visa on arrival sounds simple, so people don't prepare properly. How to avoid it? Research visa on arrival requirements carefully. You may need to provide documents or pay a fee. Special situations section. There are a few situations that can make your visa situation more complicated. Let's go over some special cases. Connecting flights. If you're flying through a country to reach your final destination, you might not need a visa for that country. However, if you need to leave the airport or pass through immigration, you may need one, even if you're just connecting. Example, you're flying from the US to Japan with a layover in China. If you're staying within the airport during the layover, you might not need a visa. But if you plan to leave the airport, even for a short time, you may need a Chinese visa. Dual nationality. If you have dual nationality, you may need to check the visa requirements for both of your passports. Some countries only recognize one nationality for visa purposes. Example, if you hold both Canadian and US citizenship, you might need a visa depending on which passport you use to travel. Expired passport. Some countries require you to have a passport that's valid for 6 months beyond your planned stay. If your passport is within 6 months of expiring, you may be denied entry. Example, if you're traveling to a country that requires 6 months of passport validity, but your passport only has 3 months left, you may need to renew your passport before traveling. Step-by-step action plan. To avoid any last-minute surprises, here's a step-by-step guide to checking your visa requirements. Step 1. Check the visa requirements. Look up the visa requirements for your destination at least 2 to 3 months before your trip. Verify the rules for your specific nationality. Step 2. Gather required documents. If you need a visa, gather all necessary documents. For example, passport, photos, forms, financial proof. Make sure your passport is valid for the required amount of time. Step 3. Apply for your visa, if needed. Apply for your visa well in advance. This can take time, so don't wait until the last minute. If it's a visa on arrival country, double-check the process before you travel. Step 4. Double-check entry requirements. Even if you don't need a visa, check for any other entry requirements, like vaccinations, return tickets, or proof of funds. Step 5. Stay updated. Rules can change, so check for any updates or changes to visa rules closer to your departure. Final warning/important reminder. Don't let a simple mistake ruin your trip. Always verify your visa requirements with official government sources or embassies. Double-check your passport's validity and make sure you have all necessary documents well in advance. Strong closing. Traveling internationally should be exciting, not stressful. With the right preparation, you'll avoid visa-related issues and have a smooth journey. Always check visa requirements ahead of time and follow the steps we've outlined to make sure you're ready. Safe travels, and remember to plan smart. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow travelers. Planning ahead makes all the difference, so start your travel preparation today.